You got your 3 minutes, Brian. Come on up.
I don't know if you wanted to do the pledge.
Oh, next time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I believe at the last city council meeting, the mayor, Mr. Brinkman, voted on the fire alarm ordinance that was the head of this body.
Yep.
And I did a little investigation. I found out that Mr. Brinkman's business, so the name of his company is Intrepid Systems, Electronic Systems.
Intrepid Electronic Systems, Brian.
Yeah. Well, their business, according to their own website, is in the business of installing fire sprinkler alarms.
That's not true. Go on.
The state of California says if for a fire sprinkler to be a legal construct, it has to have an alarm. And that's the business that Mr. Brinkman's webpage says that they are involved in. So I decided to call Intrepid and talk to one of his employees, and I did that. And this is this is for Mr. Biddle and also for Ms. Landreth. Okay. I called one of Mr. Biddle's employees, and his employee told me, I'm sorry you're interrupting. The employee told me that fire sprinkler alarms is what Mr. Brinkman does. That's the nature of his business. So Mr. Brinkman has a material benefit for passing an ordinance that would require fire sprinklers in town. So it was brought to Mr. Biddle's attention, apparently at the last meeting, that Mr. Brinkman should recuse himself, and Mr. Biddle didn't do anything about it. So in the intervening time, I've twice called Mr. Biddle and Mr. Gina, the assistant city attorney, to ask them what we need relief here. This is, if not a direct conflict of interest, at least the perception of a conflict of interest. Would you, Mr. Biddle, please call me back and tell me how can the citizens get relief here? And I got no call back. So now I understand Mr. Biddle serves at your pleasure and not at the city manager's pleasure. So the city manager, I guess, can't really do anything in this regard. But I would like you to know this, that what transpired regarding Mr. Brinkman's vote about city sprinklers. And I just don't think it's appropriate. I don't think he should be voting to require fire sprinklers in town when you're clearly benefiting, or at least, and if you're going to deny it, maybe you no longer do provide fire sprinkler alarms. Maybe, we don't know that. Maybe you're going to tell us that. But there's at least the perception, because if you go to the website, it's very clear. So apparently, the five of you are under Mr. Biddle serves at your pleasure. So I think you should instruct Mr. Biddle to, when the citizens have a legitimate question or a complaint like this, we should be able to get an answer.
Thank you, Brian.
And so I think you should direct Mr. Biddle to provide answers to the people when they have legitimate questions like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up.
Hello, everyone.